This right here is another Sundance 2022 interview for you on the Collider Interviews YouTube channel. I have the team from Summering here. Hello, congratulations.
Hi.
We don't have much time. You guys are a very busy group celebrating an excellent film. So James, I'm going to you first because this is a Sundance interview. A lot of people out there do not know what Summering is just yet. So I must give you synopsis duty. Can you give everyone a brief description of your new movie?
Yeah, thank you. Summering is about four friends who are on the cusp of adolescence, and it's the end of summer, and they make a startling discovery that sort of alters their lives. I mean, that's the sort of the very tiny synopsis.
We play the characters that are on the cusp of adolescence, just so you know.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger story, I mean, is it's about parents and children, and it's a story about friendship, about fear, anxiety, hope, and what it is to live in a world that feels unstable and full of change.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about the wait for this movie, because it's been a little while at this point since you last wrote and directed a feature film. So why the return to this format with this particular story?
I mean, I think having children, is like an answer for so much of it. I mean, I think this story I wouldn't have told were I not a parent. I think, there's, I love and have always loved films about childhood and friendship and our first brushes with death and mortality and that sort of awakening that you have, and the way that children use imagination to process trauma in a way that's different than adulthood, but that adults do. But for me, I think there were just so many conversations that I began having once I became a parent with my three kids, and especially my daughter, as we were watching movies, reading books, and my daughter would ask me, where are the girls in these stories? Where are the girls in these movies? Where is like a version of me and my friends that sort of, in her own way of saying it, that is about our emotional inner lives and our hopes and dreams, and not just, it doesn't just feel like the main character's sister, something like that. So that's where it all sort of came from.
I'm sticking to being a cat mom, but now that I have a niece, I feel like I'm getting like a little taste of that and an extra layer of appreciation in all movies like this that I see that I know she will wind up loving.
I'm a cat dad, so I can relate.
So like, I can kind of give you a somewhat similar question. So you've been doing a whole lot of really, great voice work and series work the last, 4 or 5 years. Was there a specific itch to get back into live action feature films, or was joining this project more about, the team and the material?
Look, I think, I'm a fan of James, this is not only was I a fan of James, but then also I also am a mom. I don't have a cat. I played one in a film, but I like cats. I have nothing against cats. But the point is, I feel like when I read the script, I also felt like, gosh, I have a daughter, I have a son, and equally, both through their eyes, I want to see female characters discovering and going on adventure and negotiating big world, feelings and concepts in a way that I would have loved to have, which is namely through independent cinema, and like being able to forge that kind of taste and interest from a young age. Like that, I don't feel like I had, certainly my kids don't have access to that kind of stuff. And so I do commend James from that point of view in creating a space to talk about anxiety, about big, life, death kind of things, but through this kind of really palatable narrative for a younger mind, and yet equally really entertaining for the whole family, and that is something that when you do have kids, you're like, that's currency right there. That's that we can all watch it and we can all kind of like have meaningful conversations after about the human condition.
One of the only things I was able to think of that kind of gave me that as a kid was Now and Then. So to like after so many years to see something that finally taps into that kind of quality is like, it's kind of shocking that it's taken this long, unless there's something out there that I just haven't discovered since.
Yeah, I mean, after this call, you can go and, if you choose to have children after this call, then come back to us in a year and we'll talk about it. And,
I mean, we might be waiting a lot more than a year, but if you guys are patient, fine.
I'm super patient. I mean, I'm super patient.
Okay.
I'm a parent, so.
She is not patient.
There's only one follow-up. There's only one follow-up for you two, Ashley and Sarah. Do you have any cats?
Yes. I actually am fostering a kitten right now. That's why I keep putting my life on running around this room like a fucking crazy person.
A kitten? A little baby kitten?
You want to see him? Okay.
Yes.
Ashley, after this, we have to sidebar because my daughter will. I have to come to your house. I need to come over. I'm inviting myself to your house.
I'm looking into getting
very
some.
welcome. He's actually being
Oh God,
chill.
where'd she go? Oh God.
Oh,
God.
oh my God.
Hello. Hello.
Oh my God, you guys. This film is blessed by this kitten.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say you were fostering that cat? How are you ever going to give that cat up?
My husband is in love with him, so he might stay. I mean, let's see.
What's his name? What's his name?
The rescue organization called him Little Morris, but we call him Rocky because sorry, James, I'm hijacking this.
No, I love this. I grew up with so many cats. I could eat this up.
Okay, so little Rocky was found barely breathing because he had been run over. So he had a diaphragmatic hernia. So he had emergency surgery at 10 weeks old, and they needed a medical foster. So I fostered him to give him his meds and help him with his drain. But now he's fine.
I'm falling deep in love with Ashley. I'm falling deeply and madly in love with Ashley as she talks about this.
He's calm right now, which is
So sweet.
he wants
That
you.
cat is so lucky to have you.
Anyway, yes, I like cats. Have one.
Okay. I feel like any cat lover I'm a big fan of, so you all get credit right now. About the movie now, Ashley. For you, it was making me wonder, is there anything, I imagine you approach a project like this and say, yeah, this looks like a great film to be a part of with a great group of people, but was there any reason that it felt like a good move for you right now? Something that it would give you the opportunity to maybe learn for the first time or try for the first time?
I always approach everything but based on the material and the people involved, and you can't do anything other than that. And this particular script, I was really excited for because it kind of reminded me of my youth in a weird way. I grew up in a council estate and our summers were spent always outside. Like almost in a council estate, it's like you're not allowed inside in the summer. Everyone just opens their door and puts their kids outside in a way that doesn't happen now, I don't think. So it made me really nostalgic for that. And I'm getting to that age now where I get to play mothers, which I don't know if that should scare me. It's not yet. Maybe it will. Give me time. If I'm only playing mothers, I might start to question it. But right now, it's attractive to me.
Sarah, brace yourself, because I love talking about first features so much. Is this something that just happened to come your way, or were you actively seeking out opportunities to act in a film?
Yeah, I was definitely actively seeking it out. But at the time, I was 3 months into my divorce, and I got this amazing letter from James, and I didn't know there was so much going on. I was displaced from my house, and I didn't know. But then I got this opportunity, and I just felt a connection right away to Karna because she seemed like the type of person, not married, just wanted to explore being a mother somehow, and so. The closeness that she had with Lola just really connected to that. I don't have children. I did lose my dog in the divorce, so I'm probably the least maternal person on this call right now. But I just really connected to the idea of this woman who just wanted to be a mother, and she just did it. And she said, you know what, I'm going to have Lola, and I'm going to have this relationship with this little girl. And then the friendships that she built with the other girls in the film, and once I got the letter from James and read the script, I really wanted to do it as crazy as my life was at the time. I really wanted to do it.
So, James, you wrote her a letter. What of her past work gave you that sense that, like, yes, Sarah is the right person for this role, and even though it is a first feature, like, I've got faith that you could do it?
Besides the check that I wrote you, James.
I'd like to make a joke out of it, but I feel like Sarah helped me and my wife and our family survive 2020, like COVID year one. Watching her embody our former president and sort of explode him out from the inside, and just sort of it just everything that felt like a collective, like, mental health, traumatic cultural gaslighting that was the past several years, and certainly 2020. There was so much catharsis that I felt through Sarah. She made me laugh and feel everything. And I felt like this person who I do not know, I am in an endless debt of gratitude towards, and I want to watch her in everything, and I would kill to work with her.
Aww. I love that so much. And you're not the only one out there. You had that effect on quite a few people. Is there anything, Sarah, that you saw Lake, Ashley, or Megan do on the set of this film that you're kind of going to put in your back pocket and are eager to try on a future film?
Yes, everything. I mean, Lake, Ashley, and all the little girl, Sanai, all of them, were inspiring to me. Ashley and I met up Friday morning. I was shooting on Saturday, and she rehearsed with me. She was so sweet. It was just so kind of her to do that. And Lake had these intense scenes, much more intense than the scenes that I had. And the way that she was able to just get into that zone. I remember Lake gave me some great advice. She said, if you just want another take, you just ask for another take. I never asked for another take, but one day I'm going to ask for another take. I'm going to do it.
It's not jail. You can just, we're all just human. It's like, if you feel it, you're in there, you know.
It's so hard. But the thing that it's just now like coming alive to me with acting is knowing that each take is going to be different, because you're different. From moment to moment, you're a different person. And so it's going to be different. And I have this control thing where I'm like, do the same thing exactly the same way. And I really just watching them like relax into it, and knowing like whatever happens, and whoever I am in that moment is who I am, was just so inspiring for me.
So Lake and Ashley, you two both have tons of experience, and I'm sure, the young stars in this movie probably had a whole lot to learn from you. But is there anything that you saw them do, even after all that experience, that, kind of inspired you to consider or try something new?
I think that I think that the younger people are naturally just much more in the moment in a way that I think I could benefit from being. And Madalen's like very calm, and nothing really phases her. She seems a lot older than her years. And I don't know if she is nervous, but she never appears to be nervous. And I was kind of in awe of her.
Mm-hmm. I really like working with kids for that reason. I think, I've worked with like a lot of children. I feel like I've been playing a mom for a while, or in some way. And I feel, part of what I think is so special, yes, I would agree with Ashley, is that they're very in the moment, but also I think I feel protective, I do feel that sense of like, I got you, it's like when you fly with someone who's like afraid of flying, and even if you're afraid of flying, you have to like kind of pretend like you're not, so that you can help them out a little bit. That's like my vibe, where when my kids are, and now of course my kids are not afraid of flying, and so now I'm like, why aren't you, but I think when you're acting with someone, it is vulnerable, and so if you're in the scene and then action is called, and I think as a director I understand that as well, and so I felt a sense of like maternal kind of protection with Lia, which she didn't need, but I think I just, and then once I saw she didn't need it, I was like, how can I say something or do something to kind of get a reaction? while the camera's rolling, but no, she was just like, she was very, very professional. She was probably more serious than I was, I think.
James, I kind of want to know what you learned from them too, because you've directed some of the best over the course of your career. But I guess depending on what I've seen of yours, I don't think you've ever directed such young leads before. So is there anything about their approach to the work that, illuminated something for you in terms of your work as an actor's director that you weren't aware of before or never even did?
Yeah. I mean, for me, so much of directing actors for film and television is just in casting the right person, and it's casting someone that you find inspiring, someone who you just find interesting, whose imagination you find compelling. And I think, the sort of the words on the page, the black on the page is there to be said, but the white space in the script, that is a place for an actor's imagination to just do with it what they will and to expand it. It's such a collaborative medium. So I always feel like once I've, found an actor who I really love for a role, they are the character, and there becomes this sort of like Vulcan mind meld thing where I want them to put their fingerprints all over it. I want them to put their experiences, their imagination, their soul into it. So yeah, with the younger actors in the cast, they know so much more about what it is to be those people than I do. In developing the script, I have a mom and a sister and a wife and a daughter, and my wife, works at a middle school, high school. So I'm around kids that age a lot. But again, the lived-in experience, the authentic lived-in experience and perspective that these young actors have is so much more intelligent and specific and surprising than anything I could bring. So I was constantly deferring to them, asking them, would you do this? Would you say this? How would you say it? Do I sound like an old fuddy-duddy, like whatever? And I found them sharp and funny and ultimately really fearless and inspiring.
Now I have to follow up for an example. Is there like a line that felt like old fuddy-duddy and then they changed it and we can now see it in the final film?
I mean, it was like a fun, prior to filming, I did group Zooms with the 4 young actors, just trying to, because of COVID, we couldn't rehearse in person. So it was just trying to create space and time where they could hang out and I could sort of mute myself and they could get to know each other in different time zones in different countries. And I would fall into the role of playing the part of the old guy and be like, hey, tell me how much do you use Instagram versus TikTok versus Twitter versus Facebook? I know I'm like your grandpa right now, but tell me that thing. And I remember I had written the word YouTube star, and they corrected me. They're like, oh no, it's YouTuber. And I was like, cool. Things like that. But actually, I mean, that's indicative of actually how they could dissect modern culture with a specificity and clarity that I don't have. And I mean, in a genuine way, they are aware that their identities, their digital identities are being commodified, monetized, that they're being advertised to. They're aware of their value. They're aware of institutional stagnation in politics, in everything, and they just cut through it. Like their position on every issue, I found so inspiring and just wise beyond their years.
I feel like I could just watch a whole documentary about them expressing their thoughts and opinions on those matters now.
Yeah, I wish I was on those Zooms. I would love to hear that. I thought YouTube stars weren't even a thing anymore. Like I thought it was, now it's TikTok.
YouTubers.
TikTok is the thing, apparently. But yeah.
So I'll either watch that documentary or how about we get a Summering sequel and it's just about the moms hanging out. I mean, I genuinely wouldn't mind that. I love your young ensemble here. They're all exceptional, but the way the 4 of you make the most out of limited screen time and also enhance their characters through the history that they established through those relationships was spot on. I loved it. I have to let you go. Big congratulations on Summering. Enjoy the rest of Sundance 2022.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.